I will call the Parks and Rec committee meeting to order. Is there anything I need to do more official than that to call it to order?
Time.
Time is 6:25. I apologize for that. It was my first time. It'll get better.
Perfect.
So the first thing we had, I spoke to a couple people through email. We had the Frank house and the pool on deck for things to speak about immediately. Yes, ma'am.
I have an addition I would like to speak about also.
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to do that now, or you want to make time later?
Oh, it's up to you.
It will take, if it won't take very long, we can do it now. If you'd like more time, we can.
I would
do it
like
again.
more time.
Yes, ma'am.
It will
Absolutely.
be more than 2 minutes.
No problem at all.
So I also had a note, in my notes from the last, council meeting that Mr. Rowe was in the process of preparing draft legislation,
That's what.
related to a lot of these ongoing projects. I don't know
Where we're at on
where
that.
we're at on that.
That's what I knew for sure that I thought for sure we were doing something on the Frank house and that was going to be presented at the next one. And I knew that we had somebody for the Aquatic Center and we were going to be opening and we were aware of the problem with the pool. But we didn't know if there was anything in motion to speak with anybody about the severity of the issue with the pool and maybe try and set up for an off-season fix of it. Do we need to have Mr. Rowe prepare something for us in order to do that, or is that something we can do?
So, first on the Frank's property, I'm hoping Monday we'll have legislation accepting the property. That way the city can begin their part as far as, fencing off and, Mr. Cohen, I know, was looking at the price, he's been pricing out fencing and everything for that. I think the Franks have provided the parcels that they're gonna be gifting to the city. The legislation needs for us to accept that. The Franks are getting a little nervous because as the park is being used and there's a lot of ball players down there, they've been parking on the property and he's just concerned about liability, that's all.
That's what we were trying, we just wanted to make sure we were and had the wheels moving on it, but as long as he's getting something prepared for it, it seems like we should be getting it taken care of reasonably quickly.
That's what I'm hoping
All
to,
right.
yeah. And then, the Aquatic Center, Mr. Cohen hasn't been able to get anybody because it's that time of year to come and actually, like an engineer to look at the pool, but, he's still trying to get somebody to come look at. The plan is still, he said, to open it, but as far as doing a lot of work to the pool this year, he's talking about doing minimal work to the pool. We know there's still gonna be a water loss, and then he's going to, hopefully after that engineer comes, they're gonna work in the off season. So after the pool closes for the season is when he's anticipating doing the work on it.
And it's not even costing us that much. What's wrong with it is if the water's not like an exorbitant amount of money or anything like that for us, is it?
$15,000?
Yeah, we don't make money on the pool. The goal is usually to break even, so.
Oh, no, like even if it's, the kids here have nothing else, if it was $20,000, we should all pull together and get it up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I was just wondering, you know what I mean? Just realistically, what kind of losses we're looking at.
The numbers, yeah, I think it's down. I know we've lost over in the last 3 to 5 years, we've lost over 1 million gallons of water, which is a considerable amount of money, but it's gotten better each year as we found
The right amount.
things and fix things. But the goal is to, and I'm pretty sure that Ms. Senior has accepted the position as the pool manager again. So, she's done a good job of managing expenses on it. So the goal is if we can come about break even, that's a really good pool year. That's a great pool year. So because the cost of labor has gone up too in terms of what we have to pay for lifeguards, everything's just got more expensive. So.
Chemicals and.
Seems like people would be much more willing to pay a fee for the pool than they will be for sewers. And from everybody I've talked to, that's all anybody's talked about, making sure the pool's good to go. So that's why I was asking. So do we need, nothing on that? I apologize for that, you guys.
And then we do have to, every year we have to pass the pool rates. Mr. Cohen had just recommended keeping the same rates as last year. Don't change anything, just keep the same rates. And then we'll, based on whatever repairs need to be done in the fall, then we'll reassess next
See
year.
what we gotta do for next summer. Got it.
So we will have a piece of legislation for the next council meeting with the rates, adopting the rates.
Okay, we don't need to like all agree on that piece of legislation to move it out of committee.
Yep, I mean, you can discuss it right now if you wanna, you know.
If you want to make a recommendation to push it to full council.
Okay,
Recommendation to push forward the amount of cost to get in the pool. That's what we're talking about here.
Correct.
Council.
Yeah.
Alrighty, then I'll call for a vote to push forward to the full council, the price for admissions to the Aquatic Center.
is that you making? the
I'm
motion?
I'm making a motion,
Okay.
sorry.
I'll second that.
Who calls it? Ms. Sonic,
Yes.
Ms. Joseph,
Yeah,
and I'm
Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Sorry.
sounding board, you're good.
And I'm a yes as well, so that'll move it forward. Sorry for messing up your last name.
oh, it's all right.
So then, we'll push this on to Mr. Rowe to draw up the ordinance also.
And does the motion we just passed take care of that? Will we be able to, or do we need to do something separate for him?
Yep, that'll be it.
All right. So that's Frank's, that's the Aquatic Center, and I'm trying to think.
Any other thing?
Do you need to talk about the dog park?
Yes, that's what,
Okay.
is there information on the dog park that we can read?
He might be able, Mr. Cox might be able to give you some updates.
Yeah, we are not meeting in April because we basically put the project up to bid. DLZ's been talking to us about that and, I pull that up the email, but, our plan is to meet early May, if probably the first or second Thursday. And by then we should have heard back on the, bids that were open and then can move forward from purchasing from them. But in terms of, last I heard, there was a good amount of funds that we had received that needed to be expended by a certain date in the summer, so that's why.
So we're trying to get to a date so we can use it.
Yeah, so we're really hoping on May, we have the answer for that. We talk with DLZ and then we can move forward and get those orders put in and that money spent.
That is what I wanted to talk about.
Who would
Yes,
you like
ma'am.
to?
Feel free.
Feel free.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I've talked to several people on council about this, and, I went down to TMZ because I was looking at the little tiny things, the dog park, and you can't see them when they're only this big, because this much is 6 feet, you know? So I went down and they were so kind to give me a copy of the plans for the dog park. My question is, there have been no public meetings since way back in November. I've been looking for them to go to talk about this.
There was one, which we had one in March. Either March or February.
Well, if it was there, I really was trying really hard to look at it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have some serious concerns. I went down and I talked to, Stan, the man that did it, and, you can open it up, yeah, right here.
Here you go. Sorry.
Yeah, these are good for a lot of things. And part of the things that I have concerns about is some of the things that they're spending money on. And I talked to the man who drew up the plans and everything, and he told me he went to Lancaster and checked on dog park stuff there. So I asked him, I said, which dog parks in Lancaster did you go to? He said, I didn't go to any dog parks. I went to the people that supply the materials. Let's talk about the fencing. We have the very most expensive fencing that's available. 6-foot coated 9-gauge wire. 9 gauge is okay, 11.5 would do it. But in the bigger the number is, the thinner the wire, which seems backward. But he never went to a dog park. Coating on a dog park wire, what are you gonna do when the dogs start chewing it off and it looks crappy? And it's the most expensive, and you can get by without it. I've been to the Athens dog parks and been there and talked to the people. You can't just go to the people that are selling this stuff.
Is that what you said, that they only talk to the supplier?
They only talk to the suppliers.
All right.
Okay. Then we've got these wonderful little places in there for the dogs to get water. And let me show you the pictures of what those are. Those are these. These are $4,500 a piece.
Feel free to.
Automatic watering systems for dogs. What's wrong with that? Automatic water there that all the dogs can drink out of at any time. Germs.
I mean, there's gonna have to be water.
Well, no, but
The,
what they have in Athens is they have one of those that you lift it up, you bring your own bowl, and you take it home with you.
Okay.
Why
What-
can they do
The
that?
one on East State
No, no,
Street,
single serve.
oh, I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
apologize.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. There is one on East State Street, where it's got just this piece,
Right,
where the human presses a button with their foot, and
Right.
it goes into the bowl, but then the one on West State, I
They have
think,
the-
is where
the
it's got the handle, yeah.
right.
I don't know enough about,
How germs are spread.
well, like,
Who's gonna clean this?
who cleans the ones
The
in,
people that go there.
really? I
I
mean-
asked them, I sat down for 2 hours and talked to these people. I did not go to East State Street
Okay.
because that is a different group that goes there that goes to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Actually, Corey goes to the one down, by the ballpark.
Okay,
And, $4,500 or something that's gonna spread disease. One of the things I believe you might have heard is the woman that was on the committee, she said they're gonna check the dog shot records and everything. How you gonna, you can't police that.
Well, yeah, no, we can't, for sure, there's no way
No,
we can.
there's no way.
We're gonna do all that we can to put signage up to say, hey, your dog should have this and this, but
That's
there's no way
exactly
you can
right,
police it.
but you have no way.
Yeah.
Another question, this is it's not about this exactly. Another question I asked them, and it was before you were on the committee. I asked the person in charge, I said, well, how many people have you asked in Nelsonville about if they wanted the dog park and would they use it or whatever? You know what the answer was?
0.
Yes.
I don't remember a listening campaign being conducted or anything of that sort. There was a vote
I remember an
on some
announcement
online
for it.
service for funding, I believe. That's the
But
first.
they didn't ask anybody. Well, I live right where people walk by with their dogs. Now, I only asked 33 people. Out of those 33 people, how many said they would take their dog there?
Not, it was probably under 30%.
One.
Yeah.
And they've just gotten a greyhound,
Okay,
and they want a place for the greyhound to run.
okay.
Some of the people that walk their dogs said, oh, I'd be happy to, but I'm really happy for the dog park. I'm not gonna take my dog there.
Okay.
They didn't ask anybody.
Yeah, that's concerning. I mean, I personally would be among the people who would take their dog to the dog park, but
I didn't ask
that means
you.
it's fair. I, am invested in making sure it's done right. So the cost of this, at the very least, is a concern to me.
Yeah.
The question of how
You're
it's
putting
going to
3
be
of
kept
those in there.
clean.
That's a lot.
The cost of the
Yeah, double
fencing
check.
material,
I
of
don't think
course.
we're putting
Go ahead.
3 in.
Try
I
this.
thought it said.
Okay, I hate to burst your bubble, but this has already been settled.
Right,
That's the reason the bids have been put out.
right. I was
actually
just
do the
about to-
work.
I
Ask
tried
them
to
about
find a meeting to come to. I talked to the city manager about this. I talked to Corey Taylor about this 3 and 4 weeks ago.
I believe you, Joanne, and
I
that
know.
was the reason I brought it up, because I
Yeah.
said, I know Joanne wants to know.
Yeah, and you can't do that.
It's been done.
The bids haven't been come in. You can always change a small thing on a bid.
Is it too late for public comment on this matter before bids are selected?
I mean, we're not
I
having our
mean, it's
meeting
nothing to
until
say, we would
May.
rather have just
We
9-gauge
We
regular
can move it
wire
forward in terms of,
as opposed to the other.
like I said,
Nothing
it
to
says that
say,
130,000
we just have a
specifically
receptacle.
for the dog park that needs to be
Okay.
used by a certain
I
time
know.
in the summer.
Yeah.
So we,
Because I did
we
ask. I
probably
really did ask.
could
I'm not saying that you
look back
can't.
into like redistributing some of the funds if we need to.
I
But
like it.
I'm
I
telling
I
you,
love.
You
I
are
if I
asking
don't
for
use-
profit,
I would
two
never
hundred
use
and
it.
fifty thousand dollars is gone.
It sounds like it could be possible to discuss it in.
You
upcoming
can
meeting.
send
Yeah,
out
talk to the
an addendum
engineer.
to a bid request. I know you can do that
Okay,
when you do that. And it's not like we're changing the size, it's not like we're changing the other house. The other thing is, do you know what Nelsonville has that is so cool? Star bricks. What is the best thing? You need something under these water areas. It doesn't have to be a real big area, but you could put star bricks, and you know how much that costs? Nothing. And this area where you come in, there's 6 feet, you know, where you can, it's a safe area. You put the star bricks there instead of asphalt that, you know, it has bad things happen to it. Especially when I told you what happens with the water table over there. They haven't thought the whole thing out. They haven't walked the walk.
Jeez.
I honestly don't know who the people were that made the decisions, Joey. I don't.
What's
Yeah,
that?
behind.
Good man, it says that on his notes.
Um,
There.
Sort of like Burger King side of town,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
behind
the-
there, that lot there.
River
Yeah.
Park.
I know, you're fine.
Okay, well,
That is.
that's where it
No.
all came from.
And I know Cindy, because she works at Hawking College, she's on the board, like she's head of the K-9 program, and she's huge on not having standing water for the dogs. So like, we can double check with
Did you not
her.
see this?
that
I'm
would
assuming
be,
it
that
would
would be
drain.
standing water.
It would drain,
drains
'cause
immediately.
that's
Like a
something
water
she said
fountain
in
for
every
people.
single
Yeah.
meeting.
But it's not saying when the dog licks it, there's so, it's not safe.
But people use water fountains behind one another all the time. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No,
I think-
I'm not arguing with, but they mostly don't lick it.
Well, we
Well,
get
now
pretty.
you don't
But
know.
I
Within-
don't know. I'm so sorry.
I
mean,
think bacterially inches and licking it are just almost the
But
same
when it
thing
flows free and then it flows out, it's passed through their mouth and out, not,
into a drain. Down
I'm
there.
not talking, it's how they get it. Dogs lick up off things.
Yes, ma'am.
There are few that can drink out of a fountain. I know this. Dogs.
I mean, it honestly seems a little bit more sanitary than what's happening at, the west side dog park right now. I just came from there earlier today. And it is a bowl that somebody brought, but it's been sitting out there for all the dogs to look out of. And there was like
But
a
that's
dozen
on
dogs at
them.
the time that I was
That's
there.
on them. This is on the city saying this is going to be good and your dog's not gonna have a problem.
But that's standing water and this is not.
I would let my dogs drink out of that, and I've got 2 like majestic animals at home. And I would let them drink out of that.
I would not let mine drink out of that.
I-
All
If,
of
I
us.
mean, in the event that there's going to be additional discussion about this and maybe for perhaps an addendum to the request for bids, it could be discussed and like,
Well, you're gauging your wire and the most expensive wire is gonna cut down on that cost that's over right now.
So
But if it goes
just
too thin and something breaks through, then we're liable
No,
for the
it's
break.
not too thin. It's all still non-gauged.
I know, I
But
was
the
just saying.
coating on
that's
it is
probably
just
the
to
thought.
look nice.
Just to update
We're
us.
going, I'm not gonna lie, like it's.
I've
I
never
would
seen
assume
coating on
you-
it.
In normal kennels and the dog pound,
I don't think
rabies
because they
kennels
were a
use the
city,
9
but-
grade.
I mean, because it was a city making decisions, they probably wanted as strong as possible, so there's as little chance as possible of any. If you took a Great Dane in there that weighs 200 pounds, it could knock some portion of that gate down if you gave it time.
I'm
It
not
just
talking
could.
about knocking it down.
Or I mean, it could get through. That's probably why they want it to be as thick as possible.
So what's your concern with the fencing is not the strength of it, but the coating on
No,
it?
Yeah,
the
cost.
it
The cost
is-
of
And they got
materials.
the most expensive and you don't need it.
Yeah.
There are ways to save money. I think $4,500 for that is ridiculous.
That is 2 cans put together. I do agree with you there. That's a lot of money.
Just to make sure we know what
And well,
we're
there's, you can
talking
get
about
water
in
from
terms of
here,
what's
here, and
been,
here.
I see, is that a
budgeted.
burst?
Okay, what's
is this-
been
is this
budgeted?
down
This is
below?
one person one.
Okay, that's what I was
Well,
thinking.
or it's for Great Dane or an Irish Wolfhound.
Yeah.
He's gonna tell us, what's been budgeted for so far. So that would
Okay.
fall under the category of money that potentially needs to be spent by sometime this summer.
Yeah, so the
Well,
130,
the grant was, first of all, we got a 250,000 grant from J. Edwards. That has to be spent by the end of July.
that's not for the dog park. it's gonna-
Yes, it is.
The
All for
the dog park's 130,000.
You find that, it disappeared.
What, the 250 or the 130?
No, the 130, it's only, it's down to 30,000 now. The last, I looked at the report from Taylor.
Yeah, and we have heard of that, and everything that's been spent on that definitely goes well over 30 in terms of the budgeting, so they're
Well,
accounting for
but
more than
this
that.
all is well over $250,000.
Yeah.
Which is from that grant that is for the dog park, and it includes this, house here, you know,
The shelter house?
the shelter house, yeah,
Okay.
which is nice.
So what has been budgeted for?
The fencing for the dog park,
Okay,
the asphalt path around the dog park through the walk, which is, you
Okay.
can kind of see that's
yeah,
around
number
there.
13.
Half of the parking lot, the
Okay.
shelter house, which is from a Nature Works grant, so that's separate money. That's
Okay.
about 23,000. The water lines, and then
No
one
way.
of the doggy and me drinking fountains.
One of
Excuse
the
me,
fountains.
Mr. Chairman, you have about 3 minutes before the
Okay, that's all,
finance.
those are all my concerns.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Like I said, we're still scheduling the next meeting, but we should be meeting early May to discuss it, so.
That's all I had because I would have said it earlier if I found a meeting.
Are we gonna see if there's something for people to come talk about the dog park?
He's saying that it's early May.
Early May. Early May, there's gonna be.
Yeah, well, the bids are due, I think, like the 15th or 16th of May, right in there.
Before we take off, I do have one thing personal that I wanted to say. I had somebody reach out to me about it, and it's also something I care about. It's sensitive, and I don't know how to raise it. But I don't know if anybody else has kids that play in the park daily, weekly here. Somebody is setting up a tent already this season in the back of Poley Field. I got a call from a citizen last night about it. I've been in the position the gentleman in the tent is in, literally. So I'm not speaking out of malice here. I'm speaking out of a protective nature for the kids and the community at large. It also blocks off the beach back there, which I think is, besides the bike path, one of the better parts of Nelsonville. So I don't know if we need to,
Have you talked to the police?
I was, this is where I was going. I don't know if we need to speak to Chief Tolliver or what. I know for a fact camping is legal in all of Wayne National. You only have to be 50 yards off of the trail, any place. And not only are you legal, but you are protected there. So I don't know if it's an information thing we need to do, or if it is having the police enforce the current laws on the books that we need to do. But I think we've got to, at least speak about this at the next meeting. It's a problem in a lot of places, and it's a problem that will grow. And there's resources to help people. There's tons of things in Southeastern Ohio. I can point people to them personally, and people. I don't want to see anybody like that, but even worse than that, do not want to see a kid stumble on a needle or into a burner that's been set out. But that's the only thing that I had to say. I guess I'm going to email the police chief and see what he thinks the best course of action would be to do next. But I think we got to keep that on our radar. It's only going to be more of an issue, and we've got to humanely and gently and courteously protect everybody in town.
And this is one of the problems they have at the West Park, dog park, the people that spend the night in there.
Yeah, that can't be a thing. People will have to go to jail if they try and spend the night in the dog park.
And they have the same problems that you're talking about.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm completely aware.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness, am not for it. People setting up tents in the middle of town kind of shows they don't even have respect for the people in the community where they're trying to stay and get help from people. You know what I mean? So it's a statement in and of itself. That's why I think we have to deal with it. The guy who reached out to me is in that park all the time. He has 2 little kids. He's not afraid for himself. He's not worried about a person living in a tent for himself. He's worried for his family. With that said, I am going to call this to an end at 6:49. Appreciate everybody being here.